Hi Aries, welcome to your reading for August 2022. This is going to be for Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You may have plans in the sign of Aries. You may be just intuitively guided to the reading. Whatever brought you, I say welcome. Let's go ahead and get into your reading because this is your monthly. It's going to be longer. You know, your bonus readings will be shorter. And I'll try to get to them by the full moon. So anyways, let's get into your reading. We are going to use 3 different decks. I'm going to use a good tarot for you, which is really quite a mellow deck. But I don't know. Normally it's not a deck I would use for you, but it was just calling to me to be used for you. And then another deck that I pulled that I haven't used in quite a while, and honestly I forgot the name of it. I'll show you the back. Maybe somebody knows the name of them. I don't know if that rings a bell to anyone. It's like at the tip of my tongue, but I cannot remember. And then we have our Mother Mary Oracle, our words of wisdom, which is what we will start with. Let's pull the clarifiers aside. And let's give Mother Mary a couple shuffles. Remember, everything's pre-shuffled before we come into a reading. But I do like to shuffle once I begin, once I have you here at my table, at our table. Shout out to my friend who is on the 22nd of March. Let's begin. All right, we have prayer. Prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solution. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. So, you know, that tells me that there's something, some type of change that you want to see in your world. But maybe it's something you do need to let go of control of. You know, we'll read this at the end and we'll see how it plays into our spread as we go along. It always does. It always does. That's why I love this deck. It's in almost every reading I do. Okay. Let's go ahead and give the good tarot a couple shuffles. Better. All right, let's give them a cut. And I was going to pull from the top of the deck, but I think I'm going to shuffle. Well, that didn't take long. All right, 6 of Swords, first card that comes out. First of all, let me bring this down. 6 of Swords. You know, it's not really a bad card. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. Are there bad cards? The reason why I'm saying that is when you see the 6 of Swords, you know what happened right before that. The 5 of Swords is about, you know, some type of toxicity that you've been surrounded by, can be my own thoughts, that type of thing. But I think that I think it's more than that, because I do think there is some type of change that you want to see, and the 6 of Swords would signify that change starting, beginning. 6 of Swords reminds you that during this change, the water can be somewhat choppy. But it'll clear very quickly. It's a very temporary type energy. All these came face up. We have the 8 of Swords. We have the 7 of Cups. Interesting. You know, Aries, I feel like you're torn. Maybe you're torn about making a decision. Maybe you're torn about leaving something behind that really can't be serving you. But you know, if we don't leave it, it's serving us in some way, whether it's serving us in a positive way or a negative way. Anyway, let's see what else we have. We have the Messenger of Fire. And then we have the Hangman. So that makes sense. The Hangman coming under the Six of Swords. So where there was movement, the Hangman's like, slow down, Sandy. There's not movement yet. This is movement that I feel is wanted, but perhaps has not begun yet. There's a reason why. So if I look at these two cards here, the Eight of Swords, first of all, that's a self-created prison. This is where I'm creating, or I feel like I'm trying to protect myself. There's something I may not want to see. It's a self-realization. You know, if it's a self-created prison, you're the only one who can free yourself from it. And I feel like it's saying, I got to look at that Six of Swords, which means I got to go back to that Five of Swords. So I have this energy, right? This is really working out of, let's say, the human condition of fear. Because 8 is about a new beginning and allowing yourself to have this new beginning. But here, I'm afraid to. And then we have the 7 of Cups, which is where the decision making now is. So I am trying to make a decision over whether or when or how to do something. So then we have the Messenger of Fire. So this is, you know, first of all, this could be opportunity that's showing for you. You know, this is about action first and foremost. You are the sign of action. You know, you begin the zodiac. You are the seed planter, so to speak, so that we can have a harvest in the fall. This feels like, you know, it's almost like something passionate that wants to begin in your life, but yet there seems to be a fear factor around it. And listen, it can be influence from your past or your present, but nonetheless, I feel that you want this change. You want to go. The Hangman is seeking wisdom. You know, there's a reason why there's non-movement with the Hangman, because he's seeking wisdom on his next steps, his physical steps in this physical world. Usually seeking spiritual wisdom. What do I do? You know, I'm just seeing this 12, and it's reminding me of August 12, with it, which is the full moon. Doesn't give you a lot of time, but some of you may be making some type of movement around that full moon. Well, that didn't take long. All right, we have the Page of Fire. Interesting. You know, Page of Fire is like your inner child. Page of Fire is the risk taker. Very action oriented. The Page is learning, right? I probably failed, but that's okay. You know, if I take on the energy of the Page, which means, you know, if you know, sometimes I feel like my failures stop me from my future. But if I look at it in a different way, what I'm calling failures were actually major, probably soul lessons. For what reason? To help you on this physical plane. But also, you know, I feel like when we gain soul experiences, that lasts for eternity. Anyway, we have the 8 of Cups. Interesting how the 7 of Cups, or the 8 of Cups, is coming right under the 7 of Cups. So there's some emotional things going on right now. And then we have the Magician, the Manifester, the Great Teacher. To who? To the Fool. To those that are beginning a new path. The Magician shows as the first teacher for the Fool. to remind the Fool that whatever lies ahead, the Fool can handle it, because the Fool has these tools that have been created from past experiences. The Fool's not taking those past experiences into the future, but the wisdom the Fool has. So that is what the Magician is reminding the Fool. And I'm saying that because, to me, the Page of Wands for you is the Fool. This is also about your ability to manifest. You know, and who's the second person that the Fool meets? The High Priestess. To remind you that your intuition is your guiding light. Your intuition is your GPS. And when we don't listen to our GPS, well, think about you driving in your car, right? It says take a right, instead you take a left and you end up in a pond. I don't know what just made me think of an episode of The Office, which was one of my favorite shows. But anyways, this is a powerful type energy, I feel, with Magician here, especially because it's coming under, you know, the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands. So we have the Seven of Cups, right? This is where I don't trust myself in making a choice, because it seems like choices that I've made in the past have affected me, you know, maybe not in the way that I planned. But the Eight of Cups says I've got to stop and I've got to look at my emotional house, because if my emotional house is in disorder and I'm trying to make decisions, especially emotional decisions from that, chances are I'm going to stop that opportunity, because fear is going to step in front of it. Again, self-created, which means you can uncreate it. You know, and then think of the 8 as the infinity, right? As above, so below. Maybe it is about creating our heaven here on earth. And maybe we do need to walk through a little bit of hell to really understand what heaven is. I don't know why I'm saying all that. Okay. Let's keep going. I'm going to take 4 more, or whatever comes out. You know, anytime I put a number on it, very seldom do I get that amount. Okay. So we have the Wheel. Now we have movement. You know, this is destiny. And just because, you know, something's destiny doesn't always mean it's hunky-dory, right? Sometimes it's meant to be difficult because it's teaching us major lessons. You know, and how to get back to the Fool's energy. Coming under the Hangman, I feel like it is saying now the wheel is starting to turn. We have the 8 of Wands. Wow, so very fast-moving energy. This is also the energy of what I think about, I bring about. Normally you see 4 wands going out into the atmosphere and 4 wands coming back. That's your intention. Now, I have to say, right now, it's mirrored by this 8 of Swords. This is movement. This is not. And then we have the 3 of Wands. Well, you know, we get in readings a lot of time these energies where it says, if you really want what you want, you need to stop and you need to look at certain things within your life. First of all, it feels like it's within your emotional life, something emotionally, but it's also affecting the Swords, which means your truth, your honesty, your self-belief, your uniqueness, all that. And instead of movement, it's creating non-movement. I forget where I was going with this. But I want to say, you know, the 3 of Wands, this is looking at my future with an optimistic viewpoint. 7 of Cups, is a little bit of the opposite. Doesn't mean I don't make a choice, but boy do I fear it. Right? I'm going to pick one of these cups and the snake's going to jump out again. Well, it feels like the reason that's happening is it has something to do with the area of the Five of Swords. This can be other people's words to you, you know, that you then take on and it becomes your armor. That type of thing. Okay. We have, dang it, the Three of Swords. And then we have the Nine of Swords. You know, it's like, it's almost like I want to have a love life, right? I want to fall in love. I want to meet someone. That type of thing. It's what I want. But in the same breath, I can't help remember all the negative things that have happened to me in that area. The heartache that it has caused. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. It's what I'm telling myself. It's going to happen again. And I know that we tell ourselves that. We all do. But I also see it in the comments where very quickly someone's like, no to love, which is your prerogative, right? It's your choice. But if it's because of the past and that hasn't been cleared, look at that. Because, you know, it's not that you have, and it doesn't even have to be love, you know, that we're talking about here, but something is being affected because of the past. And I feel like the main problem is that I fear that it will happen again. Right? This Nine of Swords is unnecessary worry. But I feel at the same time, I got to go back to Mother Mary. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. That's what the Six of Swords really is doing. It's bringing, you know, it's the realizations and then the movement out of it. It allows you to start a new world, even if it's only one section of your life. So, let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have the Four of Cups. First of all, the Four of Cups speaks about using your spiritual discernment as it relates to decisions. I mean, you know, it's just with you. We all have that. Four of Cups, though, is also the energy of inactivity. Listen, I have a dream. I have a dream. But I'm not chasing that dream. And listen, you know, some of you may now be doing, it may now be on that course. But I feel like it has taken a while to get on that course. Because the Four of Cups tells me there had been inactivity for quite a while. But yet, in the same breath, as we move into the spread, we start to see that movement. So this is what wants to leave the reading, right? The inactivity towards my dream. And it just so happens that it's in the cups. We have the Five of Pentacles under that. Well, so it feels like, you know, Five of Pentacles can be that energy of feeling like you were thrown out into the cold. Something happens that, you know, is really out of your control, unexpectedly. And it kind of forces your hand. You know, in the Five of Pentacles, though, because it is under that Four of Cups, you know, it does speak of continuing to move, right? Just like the Six of Swords. Yes, the waters will be choppy, but just for a short amount of time. And that choppiness may just be as I'm traveling along, I'm learning more and more about my own truth. So the Five of Pentacles, again, it's like my hands were tied. There was probably, could have even been a financial loss. You know, whatever it was, it's having an effect on you now. Or it has had effect on you. So, it's important that we clear this energy, because I feel like if I don't clear this energy, then I'm kind of I'm going to be staying in this Eight of Swords energy for a while. And I don't think that's what you want. Because what's mirroring it again is the Eight of Wands. Okay. Let's bring in, gosh, like the tip of my tongue. I feel like it starts with the letter A. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll start at the first line. We're going to look at that Six of Swords that moves into the Eight of Swords, that moves into that Seven of Cups. So, you know, I don't want to have a blindfold on when I'm trying to make a decision, but that's exactly what's happening there. That then moves into the Knight of Wands. So I feel like the Knight is like maybe some type of opportunity, and then you are here deciding whether it's something you want to move into. Again, you know, why am I having a hard time making a choice? Well, because I have this block in front of me, and then the Eight of Cups just, you know, it's like the answer of how to get beyond it. Because once I do that, I move into the Three of Wands. I start to get very optimistic about my future again. And that's probably why the Eight of Wands is right here too. All right. Well, there you are. The Emperor coming over the Six of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords coming over the Eight of Swords. It's almost like I fear some type of communication. You know, there's something in this sword and he's coming fast, which isn't really, you know, which really isn't the Knight of Swords energy. And his sword is up. You know, he looks like he's coming in a very defensive type, like I'm coming in to battle. Now, this may just be, again, you know, your imagination, based on a real life, you know, based on a real events. But this, because it's coming over the Eight of Swords, it's almost like if someone come in and tried to talk to me, I'd bite their head off. Or it's the other way around. Okay, tell us more. We have the Page of Swords. Interesting. Look at the swords, first of all. So we have the Knight of Swords that's going down to the Page of Swords. I feel like for someone who's trying to make a decision, what you have to ask yourself is, will this make you happy? Does it feel like, because don't forget we have the wheel here, so what's ever moving in this what's ever moving you in this Six of Swords, you're coming into the energy of the wheel. Again, destiny. So this Page of Swords, you know, it could be a reminder to you of following your own truth. Following, you know, again, a lot of people could have told me all these negative things and I bought into it. We have the Six of Wands. Well, that's the energy of victory. We have, look at that. Oh, I thought that was the Empress for a minute. It's Justice. Card Libra. This could talk about severing of the ties with someone, whether I wanted it or I didn't. It's coming over the Hangman, so it almost feels like, you know, like on hold. And then, man, We have the Knight of Wands again, coming over the Page of Wands. You know, I feel like there's some of you who have, you know, suffered in some way, no doubt. I do feel like it's affected your heart, which then has affected your mind. And what I mean by that is the pain in my heart then travels to the thoughts, into my thought system. Now, just because I think something doesn't necessarily make it true, especially if I'm hanging on to the negativity of the past, that part of the past, let's just say. It's just like, bam, then it just leaves my brain. But you know why? Because I'm down here looking at justice. And justice shows for a couple different reasons. Yes, it can signify divorce. It can signify cutting of ties. It can also signify karmic times. You may have been in a karmic relationship. Listen, don't regret it. You still have learned, and that's what we got to learn. Even the most difficult relationships teach us. And sometimes it's just teaching us what we don't want and how to recognize it if it shows on our past again. Some of you, this may be a disconnection that you did not ask for. Nonetheless, it happened. But then you have the wheel here, so, you know, it's like it may have held you up for quite some time, but I feel like this is things that want to begin again, like passion that wants to enter your life again. You know, I don't like seeing Aries like this. This is not our normal Aries. But nonetheless, here it is. But at the same time, again, prayer. Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. It's the first card that shows up is bringing you those solutions. The first solution is knowing what's toxic and leaving it behind. Even if I'm not physically moving, I see it, right? I'm taking off blindfolds. I'm putting down walls of protection because I don't need it. That's what my intuition is for. I already have a built-in protection system. I just have to use it. I got to pay attention to the red flags. We see the red flags, but many times we ignore them. That's all of us. And I feel like that's the lesson. That's a lesson because we have free will. Not everyone is destined to be in your life because you do have free will. Sometimes we don't make the best choices. But, it's like the universe will adjust itself then to help you. Okay, let's keep going. Look at this. We have the Four of Wands. Some of you are walking away, or it was talking about the end of a commitment. It's an end of a commitment, but it's interesting because in the same time, I'm wondering, are you going to hear from this person again? Is this about, and listen, maybe the ties weren't completely cut. Now, if this is the same energy that caused all these swords, you got to look at that. But in the same breath, I don't feel that because in the Four of Wands, well, let's keep going, because it's coming over the Eight of Cups. So again, it feels like the walking away from. Yeah, with the Ten of Wands. So I do feel like it's the cutting, the severing of ties to one or someone or something. Why? Because it became too much. Because the burden became too much. It's interesting because in the Ten of Wands, I often feel this person is wishing secretly for the Tower to show up. It's like backbreaking. Too much to handle. But it's coming over the Magician. And this is a 10 that wants to end. It wants to end. I gotta love it. You know, Ten of Wands can mean, you know, sometimes like, you know, we want to be in a relationship with someone, and, you know, sometimes we think we're still in love with them, but I don't know. And I'm saying that because we can get into repeat patterns, right? If we don't realize that maybe in this, let's just say this relationship, that it seems like the majority or the weight of the relationship lied on your shoulders. It became too much. And it's interesting because not only did it lie on your shoulders, but then I kind of feel like you got screwed over at the same time. Magician saying, let it end. Let it be. Easier said than done, right? But if you go back to the beginning, it's like, I often feel these readings are like our maps. Okay. We have the Seven of Wands. Jeez, what is going on here? And then we have the Five of Swords. Let's just go ahead and bring them all out. We have the Knight of Cups. This is unexpected love, or an unexpected cup of emotion. Again, doesn't have to be love, but it does fulfill you. It's unexpected. However, it's coming over the Three of Wands. So this is where I expect my ships to come in. I expect good things to happen, and therefore they do. Love, emotion, fulfillment. And look at that. And then what shows up? That Nine of Swords. Here is the Nine of Swords. What is all this worry about? Previous heartache. Right over the Three of Swords. There's no doubt. Previous heartache. And I'm still carrying it. Right? I'm still carrying it because as soon as this cup shows up, boom. Here is this unnecessary worry again. You know, why? Because I automatically think someone's going to hurt me. I automatically think love is going to hurt me. You know, I've fallen into that mindset. And then we have the Four of Cups. You know, I feel like if you want to say no, say no. But I feel like your guides are saying this isn't something that your soul wants to say no to. Whatever this may be. It's interesting because it's like hinting at love, but what it's really hinting at is what something prior has done to you and the scars that it's left. I've got to heal them. I've got to understand them, right? Because I don't want to stop living my life because of what was. And I don't need to create these walls of protection if I can learn to trust my intuition, truly. You know, people reveal themselves, but sometimes we don't want to listen. Anyway, what am I looking at? The Four of Cups, again, inactivity. You know, it's, you know, I'm saying, like, if you don't want it, just say no. But it's interesting because in the Four of Cups, I often feel that this person does have a dream, right? Is fantasizing about this cup. And with the Magician right here, boom, here it is, right? But what is it meant by? All this worry. We're not going to leave it there. Because I feel like, you know, if, you know, this is a difficult reading for you, no doubt. However, in the same breath, I feel like it's a very freeing reading for you because if you're able to see it for what it's truly saying, right? And if you're able to notice parts of you where it's like, I worry and worry and worry, and it gets you nowhere. Decide, like, what can I carry and what can I not? If I can't carry it anymore, hand it over. Hand it over to God Instead of worrying, I pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. Real solutions. You know, I'm seeing these fours. And fours to me signify, first and foremost, foundation. Right? That's what I want to start with. The foundation. If I build a strong foundation, the chances of anything coming in and knocking it over are very hard, right? It's chances are it's not going to happen. Okay. However, I'm not going to leave the reading like this. I think what I want to do, I do want to look at this night. But you know what? I also want to look at, before I move on, I want to look at justice real quick. And I want to, especially because it's attached right to you. Now that could be Aries and Libra. Okay, we have the Two Swords. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, but she's in reverse. Some of you, there may be two people in your life. Some of you may have severed ties with this Queen of Pentacles. She doesn't have to be female, by the way. Could be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Interesting. Okay. Well, you know, I just wanted to really see what justice was meaning here. First of all, justice is about making you whole again, even if it's difficult. You know, ultimately, you will be whole again. You got to allow it at the same time. You know, there is a blindfold on that Two of Swords. And Two Swords, I'm normally blocking something. I'm blocking an opportunity. And maybe you're blocking this Queen. I don't know. That may be another reason why she's in reverse. Okay, let's pick this up. And I want to go into a little... It's funny, this month's reading, like last month's reading, they weren't that long. You know, they used to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But this month's readings, they are longer. All right, we're going to pick this up. Remembering that that wheel and the Magician is here. Okay. I want to keep you out here. The Emperor. And I want to look at this Knight of Cups. And I think we should use a different deck. Let's use the Gilded Tarot. Let me get a couple shuffles. You know, do I think this night is bringing in love for everyone? I don't. But I do feel like this night is bringing in some type of, again, emotional fulfillment. Something that feels good. So, whatever it may be, that's what I want to know. We have the Page of Wands again. Interesting. This could be someone that I knew of an earlier time. This could be something that reminds you of an earlier time. Look at this. 6 of Cups. Wow. You know, I don't always like to say that someone from your past may be still interested. But there seems to be that energy right here. You know, if I think of love, yes, it's been hard, it's been difficult, right? There's been divorces, there's been this and that. But this is something different. This to me is, when I see the Six of Cups, this reminds me of happier days, happy memories. These are memories that I really treasure. You know, and the page right before that, you know, it almost feels like I knew this person when they were a page, right? Again, you're right above it, but it's like I knew this person when I was a page, they were a page, whatever age that may mean. You know, I just feel like it's back in the day, whether it be childhood or, you know, my teenage years or my 20s, my 30s, you know, it's back in the day. But it's an energy that does make me feel good. It does make me feel good. And, you know, and let's not forget, we're in the year of the lovers. I know, Sandy, you say it all the time, but I want to remind you, you know, that we're in the year of the lovers. Okay. We have the 10 of Wands. Interesting. We have the 7 of Wands. And then we have the Magician. We have the 4 of Wands under the 6 of Cups. And let's see if I can get one more. Look at this. We have the Knight of Pentacles. First of all, you have a knight that's coming in, right? This knight is bringing a cup of fulfillment. You know, do I feel like it's love? For some of you, I do. I feel like it's ultimately a true commitment. The Magician behind it. Listen, your effort is also important in this. Interesting that the 7 of Wands is down here, because this is like, you know, it's normally defensive energy, but I have to be honest. I feel like this is you, and I mean it as in, how do I say this? Because I think I said it before, and I made a lot of people mad. You know, almost like the saver for another. Like, that makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. I don't know why I'm saying that. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles. You know, this is a blessing that's coming into your life. It's interesting that they're coming from different directions. I feel like this is saying, if I could see my life from this way versus all those swords we saw, then I'd have much more clarity. This Knight of Pentacles, which to me is a guardian angel. It's, you know, being proactive, your spirit guides, however you want to say it, bringing in, you know, what are they bringing in? They're bringing in a pentacle, something that's going to enhance your world. This is a slow moving knight, but it moves with purpose. You know, the time, you know, when the time is right, the time is right. If it come in before, like if this knight would have came in the last spread with all those swords, maybe you wouldn't even noticed it. You wouldn't have seen it as the blessing that I feel potentially it is. Because first of all, what does it allow you to do? It allows you to end this 10 of Wands, to get rid of it. Enough. Right? To end it. Whatever it may be. Even the Knight of Cups is coming in to help that energy. To help get you past it. Let's just say that. So anyways, I feel like, you know, you're very important here, because I feel like what you're manifesting, or what it is you'd like, you know, what is it you truly like to see in your life? And is it, you know, is it possible? If it is possible, what are you doing to try to get it? You know, even if it results in a failure, are you still trying? You know, because I feel like, why am I saying that? Not that I even feel like it's going to result in a failure, but if I tell myself that, you know, like I can handle I can handle whatever. However, I have to say, with the Six of Cups attached to the Four of Wands, this is the marriage card. This is the commitment card. You know, interesting, because then I go back to the spread before. Could I have made a commitment, a true commitment, perhaps to this person in the energy I was? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, and it's interesting too, because I feel like if I'm able to put down that wall of the Eight of Swords, right? If I'm able to let go of the pain of the past and maybe just understand it, right? Understand it, like, you know, we can be in love relationships and it doesn't promise us anything, right? Things can happen. But if I can see the big picture of something, then maybe I'm able to move on from it. And I feel like that is what the Knight of Pentacles is waiting for. Because it wouldn't serve you. It wouldn't serve you beforehand. But now, I feel like if I'm able to, again, instead of worrying, I just pray about this situation to bring about real solutions. And I'm being proactive in it. Two knights coming your way. One carries a cup of emotion, cup of love, whatever may be in it. And the other carries the promise of a better world, a more expanded life. And it also seems to carry the potential promise of a true commitment with someone. This is, you know, when I see the Four of Wands, because there's all good cards around this Four of Wands, this talks about people who want to be there, right? They want to be there. I feel like, you know, potentially someone coming back into your life. Even you, potentially, for some of you, could even be like moving back home, you know, to a place that you would have very good memories about. You know, I say home, doesn't have to be home, but, you know, just an area where you've always felt good. Again. All right, guys. Wow. Let's look at the bottom of this deck. We have the Hermit, card of Virgo. This is also about your spirituality. You know, it makes sense that the Hermit at the bottom of this deck, because what's he doing? He's shining his light over what we're seeing with the light of spirituality. The Hermit is, look at this. I just realized that. Look at that. What, did I use this deck? What the heck? And then the Seven of Cups. We've seen both of those side by side. Here they are, different deck. The Hermit, having reflection, spiritual reflection, over this, what was in your last spread. Now is the Hermit. It's the true light. And by the way, under that, look at this. Under that, the High Priestess, your intuition. And then look at that, the Six of Swords. It's like everything you had, wow. And then the Two of Swords, we had that. And then look at that, the Emperor. Wow. It's like giving us a piece of the last spread without bringing in the energy of it, right? The Hermit's eliminating these two knights. Don't fear them. And I feel like instead, be excited about them. Understand that, you know, the Magician is here for you, but you are also the manifester, right? Don't forget your power to manifest. There's two Four of Cups. There's a lot of fours in your reading, by the way. Every reading has had like multiple numbers, and yours is 4. I think we've had 4 fours. So anyways, and 2 of them were the Four of Cups. And that's inactivity, though I still have that dream. Still have that dream. All right, let's read prayer. This is one of those readings where I feel like I want to overtalk it, but I feel like if it's for you, you know it already. All right, what am I looking for? Prayer. This card reminds you of prayer's powerful and positive effect and asks you to apply it to your present situation. This is especially true if you feel stuck, confused, powerless, or in any pain. Surrender these feelings to heaven and ask for divine intervention. Then listen carefully for God's messengers, the angels, who deliver his guidance to you in the forms of feelings, signs, ideas, visions, and dreams. When you worry about a situation, you actually draw to you more negativity and feelings of paralyzing victimhood. So, worrying gives you more things to worry about. In contrast, when you pray, you draw upon the most powerful force in the universe. Mother Mary reminds you to turn worries into prayers by saying, God, please help me with, and then pouring your heart out about your cares and your concerns. You'll notice an emotional release upon praying as you shift from fear to faith. That feels like your whole reading is shifting from fear to faith. These nights are showing up for you to bless your world. But we have to learn to let go of the pain of the past. Even hurtful words, you know, it doesn't mean you forget them. It just means I don't allow it to affect my life anymore going forward. If there's someone, listen, I feel like something's coming to you, but don't forget about you also being proactive. Again, you are the seed planter. Interesting how we had the Four of Wands before, and now we have the Four of Wands, but this time it's surrounded by light and blessings. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? I love you guys. That was from Cops. I love you guys. I thank you. I hope. No, I just know. I know who needs to hear this, they'll hear it. And I trust that. I thank you for sharing my videos, by the way, in your with your video or on your social media platforms. I have to tell you, I get a lot of responses back about how, like, you know, it was shared on Twitter and someone like, you know, it's exactly what I needed at exactly the right time. Kind of like the Knight of Pentacles. It shows up at just the right time. It can't come before its time. And it won't come after its time. It'll come in the right time. I love you guys. I thank you for every way you support my channel. I thank you for your donations. By the way, keep your eyes open. Sometime this weekend, I'm going to be doing live readings again. 3 cards, yes or no. You know, though it can get deep, have patience. It can take a while. I don't know. I'm getting faster and faster as I do it. So keep your eyes open. I was going to do it today, but it's very overcast here, so I'm worried about my internet connection being out in the country. So anyways, keep your eyes open for that. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so that you'll be notified. I'm telling you, the answers are pretty deep. They're not generic. So anyways, just keep your eyes open for that. I love connecting with you guys that way, and I'm trying to do it more and more. I can't wait for your comments, as always. I know some may not see this right away for what it is. I feel like that Eight of Swords is going to, like, try to block the true message right away. You know, think about revisiting. Maybe you'll need to revisit it. Or, you know, someone said to me, like, you know, the reading, like, they felt the reading, but it didn't quite make sense at that moment. And I said, give it time, you know, because things will happen in life and you'll be like, oh, I think I remember Sandy saying that, you know. And if that's the case, that's when you revisit. because there can certainly be messages that you miss first time going around. Anyway, I forgot to look up what your last reading was, but I'll connect it at the end. Anyway, I love you guys. I thank you for everything. Can't wait to see your comments. I can't wait to see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.